food. The next day, we all went over to Valencia. Whoever was left, we all went to Valencia's apartment to have a rest or whatever. But we still wanted to let her know we were there. Most people were going to leave from there and just get on the plane. Right? Did I end up? I think I ended up leaving after everybody. I stayed an extra day or something. And it was a few of us there, and I think I stayed. I ended up staying an extra day. I'm almost certain that I did. You know, just there with her. And I was sad, but I was, trying to like, we're gonna laugh it off. We're gonna do some things. And she spent a lot of time in her room, in her bed. So, I just would be up there in the chair, or I, sometimes be like, do you want, you want your privacy or whatever, or you want to just rest and I don't be there? And a lot of times she'd be like, no, just sit right here. So I just sit, I do work, have the TV on. Or if I had like a call to do or something, I just go downstairs. I told her I was going to go downstairs because I was working on something. And, I don't, the details is a little foggy, but I remember her texting my phone. I had that pink flip phone. And she texted my phone and she said something to the extent of, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna stay here and fight. And and that messed me up because I was trying to come to the resolve that, I didn't know when, but she was gonna leave. So, because up to that point, she was just kind of like, when I go, it's just time to go. They're thinking about doing a surgery, and she would say stuff like, well, if I do the surgery and I just die on the operating table, I just do. And I remember mama let her be like, girl, stop saying that. Like we just would say that. And bless mama, because mama was there 24/7. And even with the chemo and the medicine, that changes you. It changed her. Like, she's always sunshine, and even the laughter and smile and the light up a room, but it just changed her. Like, anyway, and I was so glad I was downstairs though, because I didn't want her to see me crying. I almost didn't want to fly back home or leave, but I had to go to work and stuff like that. But I still had to go to work, honey. So I flew back. That was the 21st, maybe 23rd or something like that, 24th. I went back and was just trying to stay focused, at least when I was at work, be present for my students. But it was hard. It was just hard. It was really hard after the Roses for Valencia event. Even though she was like, I'm gonna fight, it still was just this, I don't know. And then she sent a message to me. She started having some really bad health things. She was in and out of the hospital a lot after the event, and she was just kind of like, they're saying that there's nothing else they can do. And if you know anything about Oklahoma City, and the cancer medical centers and stuff like that, they're technically speaking supposedly some of the best, right, in Oklahoma. And when I say supposedly, it's no drag or shade to nobody, but there are like 10 million people that die. So I don't know. So she was really at a facility or a place or hospital where you know, they were known for cancer treatment, and they were saying that's not much they can do. And then she sent me a message, and she said, I'm going to the cancer treatment center. And I'm like, oh, thank God. There was like this little hope. She said she was going to the cancer treatment center. I believe she talked to Boris and Nicole. And again, I'm not going to tell anybody's experience or story, you know. I'm almost certain that she did. And that helped to make that decision. And so she was going to Tulsa, Oklahoma, cancer treatment center, and they were, she went, you know, to get the evaluation or whatever. They were going to say they were going to do this risky operation to remove the tumor and this and that. And so she was like, I'm ready. And I said, I am too. So I flew in. This is now, and we're in March, early part of March. I flew in, and the cancer treatment center, I'm gonna say they're so welcoming. They're so welcome. They try to make the family as comfortable as possible, you know, throughout whatever experience, you know. There was a driver. I walked out, and there was a driver. I was waiting for me. It had a little sign with my name on it, you know, Sister of Valencia. You know, it was just like, you know, and the driver that took me from the airport to the cancer treatment center, we talked. He said he was a survivor of prostate cancer, 2-time survivor, you know, and we connected, and he's just like, I do this. He said, I choose to spend the rest of my life doing this. He just talked about how grateful he was to be alive. And he felt like working for, or volunteering out, I can't remember if it was work or volunteer, for the organization as a driver. I believe it was work. He got a chance to help bring hope, you know, to families, because he felt like hope was what saved his life, you know, like he didn't lose hope. And so he was just kind of like, despite whatever the outcome, you know, with your sister, don't lose hope, you know. So I had a room, but I didn't go in that room. I paid for a room, and it was so cheap. Like, when I say dirt cheap, like $30 a night. But I didn't. I stayed in a hospital room all night with Valencia. The issue was, when I got there, she was in so much pain, and I think she had an infection or something. This time I had been traveling back and forth so much in Oklahoma. And I love Southwest Airlines. That's probably why I'm going to stick with them no matter what. Even if they, like, piss me off a little here and there. Southwest, it was just, got me back and forth. It got me where I needed to be immediately, that airline, when I needed to be there for my sister. So, like, there's this ticket that you can get, and you can just fly whenever you want to. And it'll be something like $350, $375. It wasn't even bad at all. And so I bought that because sometimes I didn't know how long I was going to stay. Or if I decided, I want to stay a little bit longer, then I just could do that and then just turn around and get back on a flight. So shout out to Southwest. And so I went, stayed with her that night. And then she used to, like, her senses were, like, elevated. So she could smell anything. And so she was like, Free, you put that oil in your hair again. And I'm like, no. I'm like, Valencia, we had this conversation before. I was like, Valencia, when we was even at her house, I washed my hair 3 times to get that oil out of it. She was like, I can still smell it. I can still smell it. Because it was so heightened. And I'm like, okay. I can go sit out, you know. I'm like, I can go in the lounge. And she was like, you're not gonna go to your room? or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's just too far. It's too far from you. And so I said, no, she didn't say, did you want to go to the room? She was like, no, like, I smell it, but it's okay. And then she said, well, wait a minute. Do you want to go to your room? You know, I know you have a room. And I said, no. I said, that's too far from you. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to sit right here until the surgery. And I'm going to be right here when you get out. You know, I'm going to be right here. And so she was like, okay, you know, and she went to sleep or whatever. And then that morning, the doctors came in and was talking to us and was basically saying an infection somehow, and they couldn't do the surgery. And so you could see the devastation, because by this time she is in pain. Like, she been in pain, you know, and the chemo, this and that, but she's in pain. Like, she even had to ask the nurse, she's like, can you check it? I feel like I don't feel no morphine. I don't feel anything. I'm just hurting. Like, she moaned that entire night. That had never happened. Like she would be some pain or some, she'd be uncomfortable some and just be like, oh, Lord, Free. Like, you're praying hard enough. Free, I don't think you're praying hard enough. Like, little stuff like that. Moaning. It was to the point where I didn't want to, like, I'm like, what can I do? You know, I was just praying, like, Lord, please, like, she's in so much pain. Like, just take this, you know, like, alleviate some of it, let her rest. And then something, like, one of the nurses came in the next day. And I mind you, she done moaned all night because she was in pain. The other nurse came in and was like, oh, something was going on with it wasn't attached fully. So she wasn't getting all the morphine. Like, listen, she said it. She was like, you know, you ain't got to be no medical doctor, but I know my body. I'm not getting it. I'm not feeling you know, I could feel when I get it, and you could, you know, over time I started feeling it, you know, the pain alleviates little by little. She said, I can't even feel it. I'm just in pain. So she said that to them the night before. Anyway, they fixed it, and she was a little sad. And her aunt and uncle was there for the surgery, and I got a chance to, like, talk to them and, you know, get to know them. And they were like, you haven't moved. I said, oh yeah, you know, I went to the bathroom. Of course, I brushed my teeth, and I don't want to be over here talking and praying or whatever. And they were like, did you eat? And I had, like, this not Chex Mix, but like these almonds and trail mix. I was like, no, this is fine. I'm gonna eat this. And they were like, that's not food, and we're gonna go get you some food. And Mama Linda was like, listen, y'all, I'm gonna just say this. When Free come and she say she come for Valencia, that's what she come for. Like, she ain't no need of you going back and something you need to eat, then that she ain't finna listen to y'all. So that's why I didn't say nothing. Okay, when she's here, she ain't going nowhere. She was like, when she here, I can go to sleep. I can rest because I know Frenda ain't going nowhere. So they was like, oh, okay. And then Valencia, they rescheduled the surgery, and Valencia said, I said, well, I can stay as long as you want me to. And she's like, no, I would rather you leave and come back for the actual surgery. Like, I don't want you saying, oh, I'm going to stay here, and then you can't get back because you done took all this day, you know, these days off at work. So she was like, you know, you can leave. And, you know, I got the date. I don't think I had the date for the reschedule, but, you know, the doctor just said they were going to reschedule, and then Mama Linda would either text me or Valencia would. So I decided that day, it was the afternoon, the next day, I said, okay, I'm gonna fly back. Like, I think I might have got off the plane and went to work, because I wasn't going home to go to sleep. I wasn't even sleeping during this time. And so fast forward, I get the day, a week or so after,